and welcome students to the Rashmi's classes. Today we'll discuss on the NCERT Class 12 Biology, Apomixis and Polyembryony. So let's get started. Apomixis and polyembryony are both reproductive mechanisms in plants that involve the formation of embryos without the need for fertilization. Apomixis is a form of asexual reproduction in plants where embryos are formed without the involvement of meiosis or fertilization. In apomixis, the embryos are derived from cells within the ovule, typically the nucellus or integument cells, rather than the fusion of gametes, sperm and egg cells. This process allows for the production of seeds that are genetically identical to the parent plant. Apomixis can occur naturally in some plant species or can be induced artificially through various techniques. It is considered a significant phenomenon as it bypasses the genetic recombination that occurs during sexual reproduction. Polyembryony is a phenomenon in which multiple embryos are formed within a single seed or ovule. It can occur through different mechanisms. In true polyembryony, multiple embryos develop from separate fertilization events within a single ovule, leading to the presence of genetically distinct embryos. This can happen when multiple pollen grains fertilize multiple egg cells or when the central cell of the ovule is fertilized by more than one sperm cell. In adventitious polyembryony, additional embryos are formed from cells other than the fertilized egg, such as the cells of the nucellus or integument. These additional embryos are genetically identical to the parent plant. Polyembryony is observed in various plant species and can have ecological and evolutionary implications. Apomixis and polyembryony are related reproductive phenomena in plants, but they have some similarities and differences. Here are the similarities and differences between apomixis and polyembryony. Similarities: asexual reproduction. Both apomixis and polyembryony involve a form of asexual reproduction in plants. They result in the production of offspring without the need for fertilization and the formation of genetically distinct individuals. Embryo formation. In both apomixis and polyembryony, embryos are formed without the fusion of gametes, sperm and egg cells. The embryos are derived from somatic cells within the ovule or seed, rather than the usual sexual reproduction process. Differences: genetic variation. The main difference between apomixis and polyembryony lies in the genetic variation of the resulting embryos. In apomixis, the embryos are genetically identical to the parent plant, as they are derived from cells of the parent plant without any genetic recombination. In polyembryony, there can be both genetically distinct embryos, true polyembryony, and genetically identical embryos, adventitious polyembryony. True polyembryony occurs when multiple fertilization events take place, leading to genetically distinct embryos within a single seed or ovule. Mechanism of embryo formation. Apomixis involves the formation of embryos from cells of the ovule or seed, such as the nucellus or integument cells. The embryos formed in apomixis bypass meiosis and fertilization. In contrast, polyembryony can occur through different mechanisms. True polyembryony involves multiple fertilization events within a single ovule, resulting in genetically distinct embryos. Adventitious polyembryony occurs when additional embryos are formed from cells other than the fertilized egg, such as nucellus or integument cells. Occurrence. Apomixis is relatively rare in the plant kingdom and is observed in specific plant species, while polyembryony is more widespread and occurs in various plant taxa. Ecological and evolutionary significance. Apomixis and polyembryony have different ecological and evolutionary implications. Apomixis allows for the production of offspring that are genetically identical to the parent plant, ensuring the preservation of favorable traits. Polyembryony, particularly true polyembryony, can result in genetic diversity among the offspring, potentially enhancing adaptability and survival in changing environments. In summary, Apomixis and Polyembryony are similar in their asexual mode of reproduction and the formation of embryos without fertilization. However, they differ in terms of genetic variation in the resulting embryos, the mechanisms of embryo formation, occurrence in plant species, and their ecological and evolutionary implications. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.